finite difference method. By definition, we can say this is basically simple numerical technique. It is used to solve the partial differential equations like Laplace or Poisson's equations. That means with the help of this simple numerical technique, we can deal with different types of problems associated with the electromagnetic theory. Now, what are the steps to apply this particular numerical technique? You have to apply, or you have to follow 3 steps. First of all, we have to divide the entire solution region into number of grids or nodes. Okay, the solution region, whatever your solution region, where you may have to find out the potential or electric field. So the given solution region will be divided into a number of grid of nodes. Then you have to apply, in the second stage, you have to apply the approximation technique. In this second step, you have to approximate the differential equations, that may be Laplace or Poisson's equations. So you have to approximate the differential equations and the corresponding boundary conditions by a set of linear algebraic equations. That means in the second stage, we are going to approximate the differential equations and the corresponding related boundary conditions by a set of linear algebraic equations. So once in the second step we have completed this approximation of differential equation by a set of algebraic equations, that means at the end of the second step we have some linear algebraic equations. So in the final stage we have to solve the corresponding linear algebraic equations. Now to solve the corresponding linear algebraic equations, we may have to follow different process that will be also discussed one by one in details. So let's start with the first step with some example. So in the step 1, first of all, the given area or the solution region will be divided into number of grid of nodes. Suppose this is your solution region. Okay, this is your solution region. Now to apply the finite difference method or this particular computational method to approximate the electric potential, basically you have to approximate the electric potential, that is V, electric potential within this particular given region. So this particular region is given. Now following the step 1, we have to divide this entire given region into number of grid. Now this is small, so to divide the entire region, we have drawn some vertical and horizontal lines so that the size of mesh, these are called mesh or grid, a single cell. So you can say as per this drawing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have drawn 5 horizontal lines and 5 vertical lines that divide the entire given solution region into a number of mesh or grids. Number of mesh and grid means a particular unit cell, that is called mesh or grid, and the crossing point of these lines, which are basically dividing the entire solution region, these crossing points are called the nodes. So I have already mentioned this one. Once we divide the entire solution region by a number of lines, that means the entire solution region is now divided into a number of mesh or grid, that is the number of unit cell, that is called the mesh or grid. Now the line that we have drawn, they are meeting at some points, that is the crossover points. That crossover points are called the node. So the crossover point, these are basically called grid points or nodes. The grid points or nodes within the solution boundary where the potential is unknown to you, they are basically called the free node. The nodes within the solution boundary or within the solution region where the potential is unknown to us, they are basically called the free node. Whereas the node that is that lies on the solution boundary. So from the boundary conditions, the potential on the solution boundary is known to us. So the corresponding nodes are called the fixed node. If you have any doubt regarding this particular step 1, you can ask me. Basically, what we are doing, a particular solution region or boundary is given. We have to find out the electric potential within this particular region. So as per the step 1, we are dividing the entire solution region into number of mesh or grid by drawing some horizontal and vertical lines. Now the crossover points are basically called the nodes or grid points. Now the grid points within the solution boundary, within the solution region, where the potential is unknown to us, are called free node. However, the nodes that lies on the solution boundary, where the potential is known to us, they are called fixed node. So along y-axis, we are considering this is along vertical direction, we are considering the y-axis. Along this direction, we are considering the x-axis. So if you consider this line, it is representing the y0. And along this line, you see, it is representing the x0. Now, at this particular point, at the center point, say for example, at the center point, we are considering that the unknown potential is Vi, j. Okay. So at x, what will be the potential at x0 plus del x? So this particular amount, the distance between two consecutive nodes is plus del x. So this particular horizontal line, it is representing on this particular vertical line, the value of x is x0 plus del x, and along this line we are considering what will be the potential Vi plus 1 comma j. Similarly, if we consider on the left hand side, that is at minus del x or minus del x direction distance, the potential is represented by Vi minus 1 comma j. That is along x-axis. So it is Vi comma j, it is Vi plus 1 comma j, it is Vi minus 1 comma j. In same fashion, if we move along y-axis, it will be Vi comma j plus 1. I is variable along x-axis, j is variable along y-axis. So it will be Vi comma j plus 1. And the potential at this point, it will be Vi comma j minus 1. Clear? So it is representing the jth line, it is representing the ith line, it is I plus 1, it is I minus 1. That's why it is Vi plus 1 comma j, it is Vi minus 1 comma j. Similarly, it is jth line, that is the variable along y-axis, so it will be j plus 1, it will be j minus 1. So following the first step, we are dividing the given solution region into number of mesh or grid that consist of number of free node and fixed node. Free node means where the potential are unknowns. That means the corresponding nodes are within the solution region. And the fixed node means the node that lies on the solution boundary where the potential is known to us. So it is the fixed node. Now this particular model is known as the finite difference 5-node molecule. Finite difference 5-node molecule, because at the end we will see that the potential at this particular point, or you can say at this particular point, it will only depend on the neighboring nodes, potential of the neighboring nodes. Say at the center point, we are considering the potential is V0, and the potential at the neighboring node, they are correspondingly V1, V2, V3 and V4. And the distance between two nodes, that is represented by h. That means in that case, we can say that is del x. So we'll say that we'll find that at the end of this discussion, we'll see that the potential at any unknown or any free node, it will depend on the potential of the corresponding neighboring node only, not on the other nodes. For example, if you consider only this particular node, the potential will depend on this particular node, this particular node, this particular node, and this particular node. That means potential of any free node will depend on the potential of the neighboring nodes, which are directly connected with the corresponding node. So this is the potential V0 at this particular point where you have to find out the unknown potential. It is directly connected with this particular node, this particular node, this particular node, and this particular node. So it will only depend on this. If we rank in that way, it is V1, it is V2, it is V3, and it is V4. So as the potential of a particular free node only depends on the neighboring nodes which are directly connected. You see, this particular node is not connected with the corresponding this particular node. So the potential at this point will not depend on this potential of this node. In same fashion, you can say potential at this point will not affect the potential calculation of this point. So only the nodes that are directly connected with a particular free node, the potential of the corresponding node will depend on the on that type of neighboring nodes, not on the other nodes. And that's why it is called 5-node molecule. 5-node molecule. This is 1 point and the remaining 4 points. So total 5 nodes you can say, or 5 points. So potential of a particular unknown node or free node depends on the neighboring nodes V1, V2, V3, and V4. So it is called the 5-node molecule. That is the details about the step 1. So in the step 1, we have divided the entire solution region into number of grids that consist of free node and fixed node. Free node means the potential where the node where the potential are unknown. That means they are basically lies in the solution region, within the solution region. And fixed node means the node where the potential are known, which are basically on the solution boundary. So next, if you have no doubt about this step 1, I am moving to the step 2. So in the step 2, we have to approximate the differential equations by set of linear algebraic equations. We have to approximate the we have to approximate the differential equations and their related boundary conditions by a set of linear algebraic equations. So by this finite difference method, applying this finite difference method, we are going to find out the potential of the corresponding given solution region. So we have to basically approximate the Poisson's equations, or we have to consider the Poisson's equations. That means with the help of finite difference method, applying this finite difference method tools, we are going to solve the differential equations like Poisson's equations to find out the unknown potential within a solution boundary. So as you know, this is the Poisson's equations. That square V equal to minus rho V by epsilon. Rho V is the volume charge density. Epsilon is the permittivity of the corresponding medium. Now, as we are considering the as per the given solution region, this is a two-dimensional region. So we are considering only the x and y component. So if we rewrite this Poisson's equations for the 2 dimension, it becomes we can write this particular equation by the equation number 1. So in that case, as we are considering only the 2-dimensional problem, so there is no need to consider rho v. So instead of rho v, we can write down the rho s. Rho s is the surface charge density. So del 2v del x square plus del 2v del y square equal to minus rho s by epsilon. Now to apply or to approximate the corresponding differential equations, we have to start with the basic definition of derivative. Derivative of a particular point v of x comma y at point x0 comma y0. So this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. We are considering, say, this particular point where we have to find out the potential V. At this point, sorry, the coordinate is x0 comma y0, x0 comma y0. Sorry. So as per the definition from the derivative, how we can write down that one? That means we have to consider is distance of x0 plus del x. This is del x amount. Similarly, as we are considering the differentiation with respect to x, so we will consider plus del x and minus del x. Minus del x. So what about the total distance? What about the total distance? That is 2 into del x. 2 into del x. So we can write down that is del v del x at x equal to 0. That will be approximately equal to v of x0 plus del x comma y0 minus v of x0 minus del x comma y0. We have to only move along the x-axis because we are trying to find out the derivative with respect to x. So if it is x0, we are moving to this point, that is x0 plus del x, and we are considering another point, that is x0 minus del x. This is x0 plus del x. This is the x0 minus del x. The total distance is 2 del x. This total distance is 2 del x. So it becomes v of x0 plus del x minus v of x0 minus del x comma y0 by 2 del x. Now if we apply the corresponding 5-node molecule, at this point it was v0. It was v0 or vi comma j, rather it is better to consider vi comma j. Now what about x0 plus del x? At this point what will be the potential? v of I plus 1, v of I plus 1 comma j. What about the potential at this point? v of I minus 1 comma j. Better if I move to the, you see, it is v I plus 1 comma j. It is v of I minus 1 comma j. That is from this equation we can write down in this particular form v of I plus 1 comma j minus v of I minus 1 comma j by 2 del x. But in this equation, in equation 1, we need double derivative. So this is the first order derivative. In the second order derivative, you have to find out this v double dash, that is del 2 v del x square with respect to at x equal to x0. So that means del 2 v del x square means that is the derivative of v dash. We can write down in that particular form again. It is double derivative. So previously we have considered if it is x0 point, if it is x0 plus del x, and if it is x0 minus del x, then in the double derivative means you have to consider the half point between these two. So it is x0 plus del x by 2, it is x0 minus del x by 2. That's why it's become x0 plus del x by 2 comma y0 minus v dash of x0 minus del x by 2 comma y0. divided by del x. Why del x? Because now it is the double derivative. So this is the del x minus del x by 2 to plus del x by 2 minus del x by 2 to plus del x by 2 means the total distance is del x. The total difference between the 2 points is del x, so it will be del x. So if you simplify this one, you see it is not only v of x0 plus del x by 2 comma y0, it is v dash. V dash ache. So if you simplify it, you will get that one. If you have any problem with this one, I have written the details. So v dash for this particular term, you can write down this one. Actually, for this particular term, you can write down in that way. Up to this, see v of x0 plus, like in whatever technique we have applied for equation number 1, same thing is applied. V of x0 plus del x by 2. Now you move plus del x by 2 on the right hand side. There will be no variation on the y-axis, so just comma y0 minus v of x0 plus del x by 2. It is same. Now you have to move on the left hand side by minus del x by 2. So it becomes minus del x by 2. And for this, there will be 1 by del x. 1 del x will be there. Now for the second term, it will be x0 v dash of x0 minus del x by 2. So it becomes x0 minus del x by 2. Now you move right hand side by plus del x by 2. There is no variation on the along y. We are going to find out the derivative with respect to x. So next one will be x0 minus del x by 2. It is fixed. You move left hand side by del x by 2. You have x0 minus del x by 2 minus of del x by 2 comma y0. And for the second one, there will be another del x term. There will be del x square. Now if you simplify this one, you see it will be x0 plus del x comma y0. This plus del x by 2 minus del x by 2 will be cancelled out. Similarly, this minus del x by 2 plus del x by 2 will be cancelled out. That means it becomes minus of v x0 comma y0. It also becomes minus of v x0 comma y0. So if you combine these two, that will be minus of 2v x0 comma y0. Okay. And for the first term, it becomes v of x0 plus del x comma y0. This is for the first term. V of x0 plus del x comma y0. Now for the second term, you see it is v of x0 minus it will be plus. So it will be x0 minus del x comma y0. And del x into del x, that becomes del x square. Now,
sir.
Yes. Bolo, কি problem bolo?
স্যার সিঙ্গেল ডেরিভেটিভ করার সময় তো স্যার আমরা del x শিফট করেছিলাম, কিন্তু এখন আপনি এখানে লিখছেন x0 plus del x by 2.
x0 plus del x by 2. In the second order, the comparison will be narrower, na? First order to second order কেন যাচ্ছি? The comparison will be more close. That's
why actually বুঝতে পারছি
it is for the first order.
শিফটটা বোঝা যাচ্ছে না.
It is for the first order. x0 plus del x, and from x0 to minus del x. This is the case in first order. Now for the second order, the comparison will be more close. So we are moving to the half position. It becomes x0 plus del x by 2. It will be x0 minus del x by 2. Now I think clear. In first order, you are comparing.
হ্যাঁ, কিন্তু স্যার স্যার যেখানে v ডাবল ড্যাশ করেছেন স্যার, ওখানে তো v x0 plus del x by 2 minus del x by 2 এরকম করে লিখেছেন, কিন্তু ওটা তো স্যার ফার্স্ট ডেরিভেটিভ কারবার ডেরিভেটিভ করছেন, তাহলে তো স্যার এটা vx0 plus del x minus del x by 2 হওয়ার কথা না, বা প্লাস del x by 2 হওয়ার কথা না?
এখানে এই ইকুয়েশনটায়
না, যেখানে আমি হাতে লিখেছেন যেটাকে,
হ্যাঁ তাই তো করেছি, x0 plus del x
হ্যাঁ
by
হ্যাঁ
2,
ওটা
এটা থাকলো x0 plus del x by 2, দেন
ওটা আসছে ফার্স্ট ডেরিভেটিভ থেকে, তাই তো?
হ্যাঁ
আগেরটা
এটা আসছে ফার্স্ট ডেরিভেটিভ।
ফার্স্ট ডেরিভেটিভ থেকে আসলে তো স্যার ওটা, তো ওটা যদি ফার্স্ট ডেরিভেটিভ থেকে আসে তাহলে তো স্যার ওটা x0 plus del x হওয়ার কথা না? মানে আগের স্লাইডে তো তাই ছিল।
তুমি এখানে আগে স্লাইডে চলে যাও, এখানে x0 plus del x,
আর এখানে তো del x আছে।
হ্যাঁ
আর ওখানে del x by 2 হয়ে গেছে।
so you are derivating the v dash, v dash, equation of v dash is this one. This one is the equation of v dash. You see, I did not write it at this point v of x0 plus del x likhini. Instead of v of x0 plus del x, I have written v dash. এখানে একটা স্টেপ, কিন্তু you have to first write down that dx of this one, v of x0 plus del x comma y0 minus v of x0 minus del x comma y0 divided by 2 del x. Then you will get that equation. That's why it is not directly v, rather it is v dash of this. If you have more doubt, you can go through the basic definition of derivative, then I think it will be clear to you. Next, so if it is x0 plus del x, now we can represent it in terms of vi and vj. So it becomes v of I plus 1 comma j. It is x0 comma y0, so it will be v of ij, and it is x0 minus del x, so it will be v of I minus 1 comma j. Now you have to move to the Poisson's equations. In the Poisson's equation, if you consider equation number 1, there are two terms. One is del 2v del y x square, and another is del 2v del y square. So in same fashion, you will be able to find out this one. In that case, the derivative is with respect to y. So instead of x0, it will now you have to vary the y0 plus del y. That is y0 minus del y, and we will get this type of equations. Now to sum up with the Poisson's equations, if you substitute equation 2 and 3 in 1, and in place of del x and del y, if you put h, where h is the mesh size, you will get this particular equation: v of I plus 1 comma j, v of I minus 1 comma j, v of I comma j plus 1, v of I comma j minus 1, minus of 4 of v I comma j equal to this. So this is the approximations of the Poisson's equations in 2 dimensions. So our intention was to find out the unknown potential at x0, y0, that is the v of I, j. So from this equation, it becomes 1/4 of this. Now, if you consider the solution of Laplace equations, so from the Poisson's equations to Laplace equations means that is for the only for the charge-free region. So in the equation 1, if you put rho s equal to 0, as that is the charge-free region, so rho s becomes 0. So that will be the solution of corresponding Laplace's equations. And what will be your potential at corresponding center point x0, y0, v of I, j equal to 1/4 of this v of I plus 1, j, v of I minus 1, j, v of I, j plus 1, v of I, j minus 1. That means from this equation, it is clear that the potential of a particular free node, it only depends on the potential of the neighboring nodes which are directly connected to the corresponding node. That's why it is called the 5-node finite difference approximation to find out the potential at a particular point. 5-node finite difference approximation process to find out the potential at a particular point. Is also clearly mentioned. Actually, it is v of, if you consider it is the center point, v of I, j, it is v of I plus 1, j, it is v of I minus 1, j, and it is v of I, j plus 1, and it is of v of I, j minus 1. All are the neighboring nodes which are directly connected, and this del x and del y are equal. They are approximated by the mesh size, that is 8. So the corresponding equation 4 can be written as in this particular form: v0 equal to 1/4 of v1 plus v2 plus v3 plus v4. So it is clearly showing the average value property of the Laplace equations. That means the potential at a particular point, it will be the average of the potential of all 4 neighboring nodes that are directly connected with the corresponding node. So in this step 2, we have approximated the corresponding differential equations like Poisson's equations and Laplace equations by this by this particular algebraic equations. Now if we apply the same thing for each and every free node, because the potential of all the free nodes are unknown to us, so for each and every node we will get this type of equation. That means we will get a set of equations. So at the end of the step 2, we have some set of linear algebraic equations. Next, in the step 3, you have to solve the corresponding linear algebraic equations. So this equation number 4 and 5, it is only for the center node or particularly for a single node. Now if you apply the same approximation method for each and every free node, you will get a single algebraic equation for each and every node, for each and every free node, obviously. So if there are total 5 or 6 free nodes, you will get total 5 or 6 equations, linear algebraic equations. That means at the end of step 2, in your hand there are some set of linear algebraic equations. Now you have to apply some technique or method to solve the corresponding set of equations. Now In case of finite difference method, we will use these two techniques basically. One is the iteration method and another is the band matrix method. Iteration method means it's basically the one kind of approximation method. You have to start with initial approximation. So for example, for a particular node, you have considered that the approximated potential is nearly 0. Then considering this particular approximation, you have to calculate the potential of all other free nodes. So in the first iteration step, you find out the potential of all free nodes, like from 1 to 5. If there are 5 free nodes, you find out the 5 approximated potential, but these are not the actual one. They are some approximated value. So for the better accuracy of your approximation, you have to go through the second iteration step. That is mentioned in this particular paragraph. Basically, you will start with some initial value, then you find out the potential of all the free nodes, but the corresponding value are not the actual one. If you have to improve your accuracy of approximation, you have to go to the second iteration step, and in the second iteration step, you have to apply the potential of the first step. In that way, after some iteration step, your approximated value will be nearly close to the actual one, and your approximation of accuracy approximation will be better. So you have to continue this iteration method until and unless you will get some satisfactory result which are very close to the actual one. And I think it will be more clear when you will deal with some practical example. Next is the band matrix method. Now, if you consider the particular equation, that is V0 equal to 1 by 4 of V1 plus V2 plus V3 plus V4. So there are some potential which are known, which are unknown. We have to find out the potential of the unknown, or basically the free nodes, potential of the free nodes. So if you separate the corresponding potential parameter or potential values that are known and unknown, then you can write down the corresponding set of equations. As I have mentioned, if there are 4 or 5 free nodes, you will get 4 equations. That means a set of equations. Now from the set of equations, that set of equations you can write down in a matrix form. Where this particular A, that is called the sparse matrix. This is sparse matrix means why it is called a sparse matrix, because it consists of large number of zero elements. That's why it is called the sparse matrix. And this V, it consists of the unknown potentials. V consists of the unknown potentials of the different free nodes. And B is another column matrix. It basically consists of the potential of the fixed node. That means this B, this is a column matrix. This is formed with the help of known potential of the fixed node. V, this is a matrix. It basically formed with the help of potential of the free nodes. That is the unknown potentials. And this A, that is called the sparse matrix because it consists of large number of zero. Now this particular method is known as band matrix method. That is, there is some reason why it is called band matrix method. This matrix A is called banded because all the as I have mentioned that it is called sparse matrix because there are large number of zero element. Now this zero element are basically clustered near the diagonal lines or diagonal elements. Okay, as the corresponding sparse matrix consists of large number of zero, that zero elements are concentrated around the diagonal line or the diagonal elements. That's why it is called the banded or band matrix. And why this type of band matrix is formed? That is basically the potential of any unknown free node It only depends on the potential of the neighboring nodes which are directly connected with the corresponding free node. That's why this type of sparse matrix is from a band of non-zero terms. So from the previous matrix form, you can find out the unknown potential by these equations. V equal to this one. So these are the two methods you can apply to solve the set of linear algebraic equations that you have got at the end of the stage 2 or step 2. Later we move with some practical example. You have to determine the potential at the free nodes in the potential system of following figure using the finite difference method. The corresponding solution region is given. These are the boundary lines. These are the boundary lines. And you see, there are some cutoff point. That means over this boundary, over this particular boundary line, the potential is 20 volt. That means, as per our discussion, what about these nodes? These nodes are fixed or free node? These nodes are fixed node because the potential on this boundary region or solution boundary is known or given, that is 20 volt. So these are the fixed node. Similarly, on this right hand side boundary, the potential is 30 volt. On this left hand side boundary, on this throughout this region, this particular line, this particular line, this line and this line and this. So over this particular boundary, the potential is 0 volt. The length along y-axis is 2.5 meter. Length along y-axis is 2 meter. Now you see, along y-x-axis, it is divided into 4. There are 4 mesh along y-x-axis, and along y-axis there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meshes. So as I mentioned that how you can, so what will be your grid size? There is a 4 cross 5. Along x-axis there are 4 elements. Along y-axis there are 5 elements. So it is basically 4 cross 5. The grid size is 4 cross 5. And maximum grid points or nodes along x-axis is 5, including the free and fixed node. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 nodes. Maximum grid points or nodes along y-axis, that is 6. Then how can you calculate the mesh size? Mesh size will be the length of the boundary. Length of boundary, that is 2.5, divided by the number of grid along the corresponding axis. And you see that mesh size will be equal for both x and y axis. As per the drawing, all the meshes are square in dimension. Mesh size will be same. So length of boundary along y axis is 2.5. What is the number of mesh? There are 5 meshes, so 2.5 by 5. And about the x axis, it is 2 meter. 2 meter divided by 4. So in that way you can find out the grid size, mesh size from the given solution region or solution boundary. Now first we will consider the method of iteration or iteration method to calculate the potential at all the free nodes. So all the free nodes are marked by numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. You can number it as per your choice. There is no problem. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in that way. So as per our discussion, what will be the potential of this particular free node? So it is V1. So it will depend only on, it will depend only on the potential of this particular node, this particular node, this node, and this node, because these four nodes are directly connected with node 1. So first you consider the how you will be able to find out the V1. From the basic equation, V1 will be 1 by 4, 1 by 4, 1 by 4, V2 plus V3 plus 20 plus 0. What will be V1? V1 will be equal to 1 by 4, V2, V3, this potential of the fixed node, this potential of this fixed node is 20, potential of this fixed node is 0. So it's, you see, it is 0, 20, 0, 0. Now you can ask me that what about why it is 0? This V2, that means this V2 and V3, they are approximated by which value? By 0 volt. That's why it is called the iteration method. In the first iteration method, we have started our approximation with the 0 volt, and if you calculate it, it becomes 5. V1 equal to 5. Next, move to the V2. What will be the equation of V2? V2 means potential at this point. Someone tell me what will be the equation? Which is as per the equation 1 by 4. Then is there any problem to understand the approximation method? There is no response from your side. Strange. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
So this, it becomes 1 by 4. First you write down the equation of V2. Better, what will be the equation of V2? Sorry, that is equal to. At least you just tell me what will be the equation without value. 1 by 4. The potential of this point will depend on which node? Potential at node 2 will depend on which node? The nodes
Node
that are directly
1, 4.
connected. 1,
4
4,
and this
these
boundary.
two fixed nodes, these two fixed nodes, like that. Now you write down equation 1 by 4. Then what about the value of V1?
5 volt.
5 volt, because it is calculated in the previous step. So it is 5 volt. Next, what about the V4? V4 is unknown, so we are approximating it at 0. What about the potential of these two fixed node? They are also 0. So it is 0 plus 0. So V2 is calculated as 1.25. Next, someone tell me about the V3. This V3. Please try to interact.
1 by 4th V1 plus
First tell me, it will depend on the node 5,
node 1
node 4, node 1,
and fixed
and
node
this
20
particular
volt.
fixed node. Okay. then it is easy to write down the equation 1 by 4 for V1. We have already calculated is 5. Next, say V3. No, next it is moving in the right hand in clockwise direction. So it is 20. Potential of the fixed node 20. V5, V4 they are approximated as 0, so it becomes 6.25. Next, move to the V4. V4 means this particular point, it will depend on 6 and 3, 2, 2, 3, 6, and this particular fixed node. So this is equal to 1 by 4. V2 value is 1.25, so it is 1.25. V2, then it depends on the V3. V3 is 6.25. Then it comes V6. V6 is still unknown. It is approximated as 0, so it becomes 0, and the potential of the fixed node is 0, so it becomes 1.875. Same fashion, you have to find out V5. I have shown you V4. Then you have to calculate V5, V6, V7, and V8 using the same method. Next, move to the. So at the end of the first iteration, we have approximated the potential of all three nodes starting from 1 to 8 by some value. 5, 1.25, 6.25, 1.875. Then once the total potential of all the three nodes are calculated, that you can say that is the end of the first iteration step. But these values are not the close to the real value, so you have to apply the second iteration step, second iteration method. So in the second step, once again, V1 equal to 1 by 4. V1 depends on this free node, that is 0. It depends on this fixed node, it is 20, 0, 20. Next, V1 depends on V2 and V3. So in the first iteration step, V2 is already calculated as 1.25, V3 is calculated as 6.25. So you have to consider this one also. It becomes 6.875. So in the second iteration step, V1 is no longer 5, but it is 6.875. Now you write down the equation of V2. V2 will be 1 by 4. V2 means this one. V2 means this one, 1 by 4. First, I am going to write down the fixed node. Fixed node, there are two fixed nodes. It is 0. It is 0. So there are two fixed nodes, they become 0. Then this V2 depends on V1 and V4. V1 is just calculated, it is 6.875, it is V1, 6.875, and this V2 depends on V4, so it will be 1.875. It is basically the V4. If you calculate it, it will be 2.187. So once we are moving to the higher iteration step, you will see that the approximation is going to better, and that iteration will continue until and unless you will get the very close value with the previous approximations. So you see, it is shown in this particular figure. In the first iteration step, that V1 was approximated at 0. Then it find out 5. In the second iteration step, it becomes minus 6.875. And the iteration steps continued, and you have to cut the corresponding value. And at the end, you see these two values are very close to each other. It is found that after applying this iteration step, the value of V1 is almost 9.16, 9.659. They are very close to each other. So there is no, not only that, for other values also, it is 14.29 to 14.85, 20.57 to 20.87, it is 18.62 to 18.84. It is 9.16 to 9.45. So there is no need to apply the further iteration method. You can apply it, your approximation will be much better, but there is no need to apply the further iteration step. So you have to follow, or you have to apply, or keep going on to apply this iteration method until and unless your approximation, your previous approximation and present approximation are very close to each other. Previous approximated value and the present approximated value are close to each other means your accuracy of the approximation is improving and better. So depending on this difference between the previous approximated value and the present approximated value, you can stop your iteration method. And generally it is found that after 4 to 5 iteration step, there is no need to apply the further iteration step. At the end of 4 or 5 iteration step, you will get a better result. So finally, at the end of this 10, in that case, it is showing the 10 iteration steps. At the end of 10 iteration steps, this V1 is 10.4, V2 is 4.956, and all this potential of all 8 free nodes are calculated. They are like this. Now I am asking you again, if you have any doubt regarding this application of iteration method on the corresponding algebraic equations, you can ask me. Otherwise, I will move to the next method, that is the band matrix method. Then I will consider a particular example. Then we have to consider the case of band matrix method for the same problem. That means same problem we can solve with the help of iteration method, or we can apply the band matrix method to solve the set of linear algebraic equations. The same problem is considered. This is the solution boundary. On the solution boundary, the potentials are known. 20 along this boundary 20 volt, along this boundary it is 30 volt, and throughout this particular boundary it is 0 volt. Now main thing, there are total 8 free nodes, 1 to 8. So you will get 8 equations. Now you have to rewrite these 8 equations in that way, that is so that you can write down the corresponding set of equations in this particular form. The sparse matrix, then the matrix of unknown potential, that is starting from V1 to V8, and on the right hand side there will be the known potentials, the matrix, column matrix that is formed with the help of known potentials, that is on the boundary lines, the potential of the fixed nodes. This is the general equations. The potential of a particular particular free node V of I comma j, that is equal to 1 by 4 V of I plus 1 comma j, I minus 1 comma j, I of I comma j plus 1, I comma j minus 1. That means the potential of a particular free node depends on the potential of neighboring nodes that are directly connected with the corresponding free node. So if you consider any particular free node, say particular this one, this node 1, its potential depends on these two fixed node, or the potential are known, and these two free node 2 and 3, or the potential are unknown. That means the V1, V2 and V3 we will write on the left hand side, and the potential corresponding to the fixed point we will write on the right hand side. To write down the total set of equations, total set of 8 equations in this particular form. Now start with the node 1. If if you want to write down the equation for node 1, you see it is 4 into V1 so it is V1. So it is 4V1. Next, what about this? V of I plus 1 comma j. আমরা এই 1 এর জন্য লিখতে চাইছি so I plus 1 comma j. I plus 1 comma j means it is 3 V3. I minus 1 comma j. I minus 1 comma j means it is the fixed node. It is a fixed node. I'm directly potential লিখছি. It is 0 volt. Next, it depends on it is I comma j plus 1. I comma j plus 1. I comma j plus 1 means this point the potential is 20 volt. I comma j minus 1. I comma j minus 1 means sorry এটা না sorry this one. I comma j minus 1 means V2. So it will be V2. I comma j minus 1 is V2. Now if you rearrange, we have to I have already mentioned that you have to keep all the potential of all the free nodes on the left hand side, potential of all the free nodes on the left hand side, and the potential of all the fixed node on the right hand side. Then we can easily form the set of equation in this particular form, band matrix form. So from this equation we can write down this. It is 4V1. 4V1, if you move it on the right hand side, it becomes minus 4V1, minus 4V1, plus V2, plus V3. What about the right hand side equations? This is 20 and 0. So it will be minus 20, comma, minus 0. Next, for the node 2. For node 2, what will be the equation? Anyone from your side? What will be the equation for node 2? If you want to write down the equation for node 2, কি হবে?
Sir, minus 4 V2.
Minus 4 V2, okay.
Then plus V1.
Plus V1, আচ্ছা plus V1 যেহেতু V1 টা আমি আগে লিখবো, it will be easy to
Plus
write down
V1.
in matrix form, so I am writing it on the left hand side of V2. V1
Plus V4
plus V4
equals to 0.
equals to 0 because on the all the fixed node are 0. So 0. আচ্ছা এখানে plus 4 V2 হলো কেন? হ্যাঁ এখানে মাইনাস হবে, ভুল আছে, মাইনাস হবে। Next, for node 3 again, for the node 3, okay. Node 3, first you identify the fixed node, sorry, free nodes 1, 4, 5. 1 আছে, so 1 টাকে we will write it first, so V1, and in between 1 and 3 V2 is not there, so then we write down the minus 4 V3. Then accordingly serially we write V4, V5. On the right hand side we write the fixed node. Fixed node is 20, so it will be minus 20. Next, for the node 4, node 4, you see, it depends on the 2, 3 and 6. So before V4, we will write down the V2 and V3. Plus V2 plus V3 minus 4V4, and there is a V6 is there, so plus V6, and on the fixed node the potential is 0, so it is minus 0. Next, for the node 5, it will depend on 3 and 6. These are the two free node. So first we will write down V3, next minus 4V5 plus V6. For the 5, it depends, these are the two fixed node. On this particular fixed node, potential is 20, so it will be minus 20, it will be minus 30. Next, for the node 6, it depends on 4, 5 and 7. So first you write down V4, V5, then minus 4 V6, then V7, then what about the fixed node? This is the fixed node, potential is 30, so it will be minus 30. For node 7, node 7 depends on V6 and V8. These are the two fixed node, free node. So first we will write down V6, then minus 4 V7 plus V8. The fixed node, these are the two fixed node, one is 0, another is 30, so minus 30 minus 0. For node 8, it will be V7, only V7 minus 4 V8, 0, 0, 30, because this is 0, this fixed node is 0, this fixed node is 30, so minus 0, minus 0, minus 30. So this is the set of 8 linear algebraic equations where we have write down the potential of all the free nodes on the left hand side and the potential of all the fixed node on the right hand side. So it will basically form the sparse matrix A into V, and on the right hand side it will form another column matrix, that is B. Now we have to write down this set of equation in the matrix form. If you write down the corresponding equations, it is V1, it is V2, okay. So this is the total matrix, that is A matrix. This is the unknown potential V matrix, and this is the known potential B matrix, that is equal to AV or equal to B. Now you see that all the non-zero elements, before that, this particular matrix A, it consists of large number of zero elements. Large number of zero elements. That's why it is known as sparse matrix. Secondly, why it is called banded? You see, all the non-zero elements that are concentrated along the diagonal lines. And all the diagonal elements are same, that is minus 4, minus 4, minus 4. Because it is a 5-node molecule, so it will be 4. And all the non-zero elements are basically clustered around the diagonal lines. That's why it is called the banded. Why this type of banded form is there? Because the potential of a particular free node depends on the potential of the neighboring node, only the neighboring nodes that are directly connected with the corresponding free node. Now, to find out all the unknown potentials starting from V1 to V8, you have to solve it. Now, It is very difficult to solve this type of matrix manually. So you have to write down the MATLAB code to solve this particular matrix and to find out the potential of all the unknown or all the free nodes. That is a different part. You have to write down the MATLAB code. You can go through the books to write down this MATLAB code. And I think in the lab also, in your corresponding lab also, this type of coding must be practiced to solve this type of matrix. That is mentioned that it is called a sparse matrix because it consists of large number of zero, and it is in banded in form because all the non-zero elements are clustered along the diagonal lines. Now I am not going to mention this particular shortcut. If you follow this particular shortcut, you can easily write down the corresponding equations directly. Without writing the equations directly from the matrix, directly from the given figure, you can write down the matrix form. There is no need to write down the set of equations. Rather, without writing the equations, you can directly write down the matrix. If you consider the element of the corresponding sparse matrix A, you will see that AII, that means for the same element, it will be -4. Now A of ij will be 1 if the corresponding ith and jth nodes are connected. Otherwise, it will be 0. Clear? A of ij will be 1 if I and j are connected. If they are not connected, it will be 0. For example, if you move to the A1, 2, 3, and okay, I'll discuss it from the matrix itself. A4, 6, A6, 4, it will be 1. Now on this particular point, BI, it will be equal to the minus of the sum of the potential of the connected fixed node. Minus 20 plus 30. Now for the first, suppose from the figure you want to write down this matrix directly. So for the first node, that is for the potential V1, A of II, it will be -4. A of ij will be equal to 1 if it is it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
স্যার এক্সকিউজ মি
Yes.
স্যার -4টা হলো কি করে? এই ছবিটা দেখে -4 বুঝবো কি করে? ডায়াগোনাল এলিমেন্ট গুলো
That is to mention, no? That is A of ij equal to -4. A of ii, A of I, comma I, that will be -4 because we are discussing about the 5-node molecule method. If you consider the 5-node molecule method, means it will depend on the 4 neighboring nodes. So there will be always 4. There will be always 4. Okay. So AI equal to -4. Now 1 is directly connected to 2. 3 is node 3 is also directly connected to 1. So it will be 1. All other nodes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, they are not connected. So it will be all R will be 0. What about the B? B is the minus. What is the value of B? That is equal to minus the sum of fixed node that are connected to the corresponding node. Sum of fixed node. Sum of fixed node. Now, if you move to the previous figure, you can easily write down the equations. You can directly write down the matrix. For example, if I start with this, what is the first row? You tell me. What is the first row? It is V1. It is the B matrix. For example, we will consider only 2 lines. First, we are going to write down for the first node. First row is for the first node. Now this 1, so AII, it is minus 4. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you tell me what will be 2 value of at this point 1, 2, A12, A12. As per our discussion,
1.
Aij will be equal to 1 if they are connected. Otherwise it will be 0. As 1 is directly connected to 2, so it will be 1. Now 1, 2, 3. 1 is connected to 3, so it will be 1. What about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? 1 is not connected with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0. So all are 0. Next, what about the right hand side? What will be the value of B? B is equal to minus the sum of the potential of the fixed node. এখানে একটাই fixed node আছে. There are 2 fixed node. A fixed node is 0, A fixed node is 20. So it will be minus 20. Next, for the second, I'll just stop at this point. For the second step, so first you will write down A22. A22 is minus 4. A22 is minus 4. Next, rest of the part. 2 is connected to 1, so it will be 1. 2 is connected to 4. 3 এর সাথে কানেকশন নেই, 3 0 হলো, 4 1 হলো, rest of the element will be 0. What about the right hand side? Right hand side, both the fixed node potential is 0, so it will be 0. I think we have write down minus. For the second row, it is 1 minus 4 0 1. For the second row, it is 1 minus 4 0 1. Other parameters are 0 0 0 and V2 is 0. So using this particular shortcut method, you can also write down this banded matrix directly from the given figure. Then you have to write down the MATLAB code to solve this matrix. If the matrix is small or the dimension of the matrix is not very high, you can solve it manually. In the exam, basically the problem is given considering this particular point, so that you can solve it manually. After solving the corresponding matrix using the MATLAB, all the values of the corresponding potential of the three nodes are calculated, and they are like that. You can compare this result with the iteration method. They are closely related or closely matched. So for practice, suppose this is the solution boundary. This is the solution boundary. On this boundary, potential is 50 volt. On this particular boundary, potential is 60 volt. Sorry, it is 50 volt, it is 60 volt, it is 0 volt, and it is minus 30 volt. Along y-axis, it is divided into 4 mesh. Along x-axis, it is divided into 2 mesh. So it is basically the 2 cross 4 grid. Grid size is 2 cross 4. As the length is not given, so you cannot find out the mesh size. Now, if you apply first the iteration method, so there are 1, 2, 3. There are 3 free nodes. So you have to write down the equation for V1. V1 will be equal to 1 by 4, 1 by 4 V2, 1 by 4 V2 plus this fixed node 50, this fixed node 0, and this fixed node is 60. So it is 50 plus 0 plus 60. It will be 27.5 volt. Similarly, for V2, it will be 1 by 4, V1, V3, V1 plus V3. Then you write down the fixed node 0 plus 50. It will be 19.375. And for V3, only this is the free node V2. All are the fixed node 50 minus 30, 0. 0, 50 minus 30, it is 9.84. This is the first step of the iteration method, or you can say the first iteration. Now you move to second iteration. So in the second iteration, again you have to write down the same equation, but you have to consider the previous value. In that case, you see, in place of V1, it is written 27.5. Okay. Similarly, in that case, in place of V2, it is written as 19.375. So in the second iteration step, when you have to write down the equation 1 by 4, this is the fixed node, 60. 60 is the fixed node, 50 is the fixed node on the left hand side, 0 on the right hand side, only 2. Only the 2 is 19.375, V2 is 19.375. So it is coming from the first iteration method. First iteration step. It is coming from the first step of the iteration. It is calculated as 32.34. Then you write down the equation of V2. In V2, there are V1 is there. V1 is 32.34, not this value. Next, in the equation V3 is there. What about the V3? V3 is 9.84. So in that way, in the second iteration step, it is found out 23.04. Then you find out V3. V3 depends on the V2. So V2 is calculated as 23.4. 23.4. Now all of the fixed node. Sorry. So in that way, this is the second step of the iteration method. You have to apply the third also. So at the end of the third step, it is 33.26. It is 32.34. In the exam, I generally mentioned the number of iteration step. You may stop at the end of 3 or 4 iteration step because due to the length, considering the length of the problem. So don't worry about that particular point that you may have to go for the 6 or 7 iteration step. There is no need to go through the 6 or 7 iteration step. You can stop as per the instruction in the questions. At the end of 3 or 4 iteration step, you can stop. Next is the band matrix method. You have to apply same on this particular problem. So for the first node, if you write down the equation, it will be minus 4v1. Minus 4v1, it is directly connected to the v2, so there will be v2. And all the, this is 50, 60, minus 50, minus 60, that will be 110. For the second, it is minus 4v2. 2 is connected to 1 and 3, so v1 plus v3. On the right hand side, you have to consider the potential of the fixed node, that is the minus of sum of this. Similarly, for the third node, you can write down this one. Then you write down this in a matrix form. In a matrix form, this is the sparse matrix A. This is the column matrix for unknown potential of the free node. This is the column matrix corresponding to the potential of the fixed node. And if you solve it, you can solve it manually. So at the end, that will be the value of V1, V2, V3. And you can compare this value with the value that we have obtained from the iteration method. So that's all, because this is the end of the finite difference method. You can go through the different example that is given in the book of Shadiku. After that, we will discuss about the method of moment, but not in that class. In the next class, we will discuss about the method of moment. Your next class is at 4:30. Okay. Anyway, so on the next class, we will discuss about the method of moment, and I will share the PPT not today. At the end of the total computational methods, that is method of moment and finite element method, I think it will take another 2 classes. In one class we will discuss about the method of moment, and in the next class we will discuss about the finite element method. This part is we are basically going through the very basic of the computational methods. I think if you go through the books or this particular PPT, there will be no problem to solve this type of differential equations using the finite difference method or finite element method. So, is there any queries or doubt? I don't know whether what is the problem. I'm not getting proper response from your side.
স্যার বুঝতে পেরেছি প্রবলেম গুলো।
Anyway, বুঝতে পারলে ভালো. So I will stop presenting.
স্যার সাদিকি বোর্ড